now ready, second time, to give the call to the honourable member for Wentworth.
Next week, the Sydney Film Festival will open with the premiere of an Australian film and feature film, The New Boy. Directed by one of our most celebrated Aboriginal filmmakers, Warwick Thornton, and starring one of our most celebrated female actors, Kate Blanchett, the film screens alongside around 30 other Australian features, documentaries and shorts in this festival. Seeing Australian films like this, shown amongst more than 200 international pictures, brings a sense of pride in Australia's contribution to telling stories that foster understanding, tolerance and belonging worldwide. Indeed, Australia has a rich cultural history, which has long seen us punching above our weight internationally. Our filmmakers, actors, musicians and bands, our writers and painters, too many to name, have a reputation for excellence, for storytelling and for capturing the hearts and minds of people in Australia and across the world. But recent years have been tough. The past decade has seen neglect in funding of the arts, but also compounded by the devastating effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. The livelihoods of many of our arts and cultural workers were threatened, and in some cases suffered irreparable damage. Our national institutions, some of those were cut dramatically, and so couldn't even maintain current infrastructure. The support provided in the government's cultural policy and partially implemented in this bill are therefore imperatives to the sector's survival and ultimately that it thrives. They're long overdue, and it's critical they are passed and then built on. Research from the Australia Council shows that Australia is a creative nation. Nearly every Australian engages with arts and culture, and I see the students up in the gallery, and I'm sure that arts, culture, music and drama are some of their favourite subjects that they have at school. A growing majority acknowledge the positive impact of arts in our lives, on our communities, our mental health and in our education system. And they also acknowledge the myriad of small businesses that are part of the creating, distributing and supporting the sector, which together mean our cultural and creative industries contribute over $112 billion to GDP. Arts and culture are particularly valued, however, in Wentworth. More than 92% of all adults in Wentworth attend cultural events each year. Many of Australia's creative practitioners live in the electorate, with over 10,000 people working in the cultural and creative industries and more than 3,800 cultural businesses in Wentworth. And we're blessed to have important creative venues like Bondi Pavilion, the Griffin Theatre, Sculpture by the Sea, as well as many commercial and independent art galleries. Over the past year, many people in Wentworth have reached out to me regarding the cultural and creative sectors, and I'm delighted that this parliament has been able to deliver some of their many priorities, from restoring funding for Trove to strengthening incentives for film production through the location offset that was passed in the recent budget and is critical to the Disney studios, which are right in the heart of Wentworth, and where I recently did a tour, being taken around the studio on a golf buggy, seeing some of the absolutely world-class institutions that we have in Wentworth for making internationally acclaimed films, and supporting the wonderful National Institute of Dramatic Arts, which is just outside Wentworth's borders. We're taking positive steps, but there remains a long way to go. A key priority for people in Wentworth is supporting our independent screen sector and ensuring that we continue to tell Australian stories. A vital measure to achieve this is the introduction of Australian content quotas for streaming services. As more and more content is accessed via streamers like Netflix, Disney and Binge, access to Australian content is at risk. Without a legislative requirement for Australian content, these streamers may simply fill their schedules with cheaper repeats and international reality television. The cultural sector has long argued the importance of Australians being able to see and hear Australian stories, and I'm glad that the government shares this view. In launching its cultural policy, the government stated that, and I quote, "The arts are at the heart of our national life, and it is through the arts that we build our identity as a nation and a people." I couldn't agree more. Telling authentic and diverse Australian stories helps us recognise who we are. They help create a sense of community and respect for our diversity, respect for our history and our unique place. They help us understand each other and to feel connected. I therefore welcome the Minister's commitment to introducing contents for streaming services in the second half of the year. And I urge the government to continue to listen to the independent screen sector to protect Australian intellectual property and to ensure that original Australian stories continue to be seen on our screens. Beyond screen quotas for streamers, there's still much to do to ensure our arts and cultural sectors flourish. Excuse me. Creativity, innovation, exploration and diversity are part... Thank you very much, Sam. Excuse me. Beyond screen content quotas for streamers, there is still much to do to ensure arts and cultural sectors flourish. Creativity, innovation, exploration and diversity are a part of a dynamic arts centre. And we need this type of thinking to drive the experimentation and drive the out-of-the-box ideas that help create both our sense of national identity and a society that is ready and willing to grasp the opportunities of the future. This Parliament is moving in the right direction, and the government is rightly acknowledging both the social and economic importance of the arts. But we must not lose momentum. Reviving this sector is indeed what is desperately needed. So I look forward to working with the government as it implements other aspects of its national cultural policy, including the establishment of the First Nations Arts Board, of Writers Australia, of the new Arts and Disability Plan, and greater support for commercial and philanthropic partnerships. But also, and absolutely critically, ensuring that funding goes straight and directly to the artists and creative people and the workers in the arts sector, who are the people that we should be supporting through all these initiatives, and whose ingenuity and creativity we are seeking to really see flourish. And I'm especially delighted that the Minister has agreed to visit artists in my community of Wentworth later this year. The National Cultural Policy rightly recognises the central role of arts and culture in developing creative, innovative, respectful and successful society. I will work to ensure this government and future governments continue to help the sector thrive. Thank you.